Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Spirit Hunters Underground podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lytle, along with my beautiful and tatted up co-host, Chris Califf.
You forgot to mention bearded, beautiful, and tatted up.
Well,
Bearded.
I mean,
I know it's been a minute, bro. I know it's been a minute that
not.
you haven't seen the beard and its glory for quite some time. But my man, it's bearded, tattooed, and beautiful. Right? You gotta remember that. Bearded.
BTB.
Hi. I'm Chris.
BTB, bring that booty. Speaking of booty, no, we won't get into tonight's subject yet.
Speaking of that booty, what's up, Daniel Harris? How you doing? Like there's two, Maddie. There's just two that I would just lose my mind over. Daniel Harris, as
we both know. We agree on the second one.
And you're a scout. You're a scout chick, and I respect you. Number two, as we both know, it's Our Lady Kate Beckinsale. My guy,
she is a goddess among goddesses. I follow her on everything. I still cannot believe how beautiful Kate Beckinsale is.
You know,
couldn't tell you how old she is. Don't care. Does not matter. It will never matter.
It's one of those things that, like, in your dreams, in like the ethereal fucking world, in the spiritual plane, you just wish that she'd appear, and then dirty shit would ensue. Which actually leads me to a point of tonight's conversation. Matt, what are we talking about tonight?
All right, we're going to get to the subject right away because we have to, because this is such a good one. Look, I just want to mention last week real quick before we really get into what we're going to talk about. First off, I just want to say thank you, Chris Califf, for sharing your story. For the people who watched last week's episode who did not know about Califf and what he has gone through, you know, it was a big deal for him, obviously, to show that on national television, but to also talk comfortably about it on our podcast, even if we don't obviously have a shit ton of viewers. Still awesome, and I just want to thank you for that, brother.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a far cry from talking about hooking up with Daniel Harris. Kind of different ends of the spectrum on that.
Thanks for sharing both.
Yeah,
I don't know which one I appreciate more, but
as it boils down to mental health and suicidal ideation and these big pieces, things that we talked about last week that were very near to me, not just near to me, but my family as a whole, your family as a whole. Like it's a big thing that we both stand for. Yeah. And to be able to talk about that in the light of like what it's like being on a ghost hunt and in our industry, in our world, what that mental health and what all that stuff does to you, being exposed to that negativity, it was good to be able to get that off my chest and say, hey, this is a thing. This is how it is. This is what it is. And it felt good. So, you know, to everybody that watched it, thank you so much. To everybody,
and if you haven't watched it, it's on our page that you're watching now. So it's mental health and the paranormal. That's what it's titled. It was our latest episode before this one. Yeah, man. But we obviously
it was a big fucking deal. It was a big fucking deal. Like at the end of the day,
it was
a big fucking deal.
It was.
Check that out. And remember one thing moving forward, you are not alone. There's plenty of people out there that want to help. You're not alone. At the end of the day, you've got so many different avenues. So make sure that if you're ever feeling away, that you're reaching out to one of those avenues. Somebody is always there to help.
Well said. So again, moving on to this episode, clearly we wanted to flip the switch quite literally and talk about something that is not talked about. Bro, this subject is not talked about a whole lot in our industry.
I have never heard I've heard like certain podcasts discussing cases that have elements of this, but no podcast specifically tackling the topic of. And I think that's cool because who better to give you a talk about the burdens of bees but Matt Lytle and Chris Califf.
I'm actually surprised we've not done this subject yet.
Me too.
So we are referring to sexual experiences with the paranormal. We're going to go into some of the lore. We're going to go into some stories we know. We're going to go into our experiences. And at the very end, stay to the end because we are going to read you how to conjure a spirit to have sex with. and you guys take that how you may, but I think it's going to be fun. I want to read it to you because I have not read this to Caliph. I will be reading it off my phone, and I cannot wait to get his reaction. No, hold on. No, you're not your turn to. I cannot wait to see Caliph's reaction at the very end of this when we talk about how to conjure a spirit to have sex with them. Anyways.
So wait, time out. Two things.
Okay. Let's start. But go ahead.
Two things. One, my night just got a whole lot more exciting. I want to make that fucking crystal clear right now. I'm gonna have some dirty demon,
Why is it gotta be a demon?
Two,
we'll get to it
because it's awesome, right? But two, you're telling me you could have a paranormal blow up doll appear at your command?
You could have a real paranormal human that was a human being. Yes.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, Marilyn Monroe, I'm coming for you. Wow. And in you.
Okay, you're getting ahead. You're getting ahead. Ahead. I don't know why I went southern there. So, first order of business.
First order of business.
Yes, first order of business. Cheers, man. Cheers to a more happy subject.
I gotta say this.
Beer.
The life we've lived and the things that we've done over the course of the last couple of years, I am more happy and excited about our future and the things that we're doing now than I've ever been. So cheers to that.
I agree. And that's a whole nother conversation we can have. But let's get into this. And I want to talk about this in the first segment. Before I ask you about your experiences, or if you've ever had an intimate or sexual experience with a spirit, with a ghost, what do you know any stories? Do you know any stories that on the internet? Do you know any friends?
So I've heard stories. Clearly the first thing you go to is the original Ghostbusters movie, right? Ray Stantz falls asleep, his pants get undone, ghost appears, disappears, his eyes go cross-eyed. Okay, he's getting a ghost blowy. That's the thing. We get it.
Yeah. Ghostbusters, if you have not seen that, I really don't think you're our audience. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because that's what you'll see what he's talking about. It's a great scene.
One of the first cases I remember fielding when I first started in the paranormal and had a group together and all that stuff. A couple messaged us, and paranormal activity would only happen every time they were being intimate. So the TV would turn on, or things would break, or things would move, things would happen, manifest or appear, but only at the times where they were trying to be intimate. And that was a hard case to kind of walk through and deal with, because you can't say, all right, guys, go do your business in the bedroom. We're going to see if we can catch anything.
Right, because then it turned into paranormal porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we'll get into.
By the way, that's a thing.
It's a thing. Okay.
Anyway,
all right.
I'm so excited because, anyway, moving on. So you have to kind of coach them through it. Hey, this is put a recorder out, put this, and it's like you have to be really careful, because you can't be like, okay, put up a night vision camera and all this stuff, because these are two people trying to be intimate. So
Black it was light, a really none of that.
Yeah, no, things get sticky in that situation. But it comes to a point where it's like, how does one help somebody in a situation like that? Right? It's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to help, Joe over here who lost his mom, and we're going to figure this shit out. But when you have somebody reaching out to you saying, hey, this thing's only appearing when we're being intimate, it's a whole different landscape for what you're trying to say, deal with, and do.
So, and I have to be clear, because I want to make sure that in this podcast we're distinguishing the difference between intimate and sexual, like actual sexual intercourse.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Intimate, so I've been like you can be like necking. That's intimate, but I'm talking about.
What the fuck is necking?
Like when you're like sucking on each other's neck.
At no point in my almost 40 years of life have I been like, "Sup, girl? Let me suck on that neck."
It's because you don't have a neck.
Boobs are there for a reason.
Okay, we're not gonna get that detailed.
I'm sorry.
We're not getting that detailed. Okay. So, anyways, so this couple was getting like
this couple
when they were having sex.
Yeah, when they were actually having sex, things would occur, and come to find out, borderline, it was the energy they were creating when they were, actually having sex that was causing these things to happen. But, being able to document that and find the evidence and be able to figure out what's going on is really difficult in situations. Then you have people like, I remember particularly a young gentleman that he believed that something was sodomizing him in the middle of the night. And come to find out, he hadn't told his family that he was gay. Because when I was talking about it, he enjoyed it. It was fine. He was happy with it. That stuff. And it just became this manifestation where he almost, in a way, created a tulpa to be able to deal in the things that he wanted to be done, but he couldn't bring himself to vocalize. Wow. So, from different ends of the spectrum, man, I've heard so many sexual based. I mean, even a dude on our team had, something happen to him. He had a goat. What was it? Ghost blowy he got?
If that's what we're gonna call it for the episode, yeah. He was claiming that he had oral sex with a spirit. I can't remember exactly who he thought it was or what he thought it was, but I just remember that story. And of course, you hear that and you laugh, but now that we're actually diving into it, I mean,
let's be honest, really, he didn't care who or what it was.
That's true. He didn't seem like
his exact words were, "It felt great." That's that.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple stories too. I've not, besides that person, I've not really heard a whole lot of people that I know personally, but I know a couple kind of more famous stories. For instance, Kesha, who is on Conjuring Kesha on the Travel Channel. She came out in the year of 2012. So this was 10 years ago before her show. And she came out with a song called Supernatural. And it was talking about having sexual intercourse with a ghost, with a spirit. Some of you guys might even know the song. I don't. And then throughout the years, what you
all don't understand is that literally before this podcast, Matt was singing in the mirror to that song.
I'm definitely going to listen to it now that I know what it's about. So throughout the years, Kesha then would kind of backtrack and say that they were more just intimate relationships with these spirits. There wasn't any actual like sexual intercourse, but there was very friendly play, if you know what I mean. Do you remember a few years ago, that lady, I believe, of course, she lives in Florida. Remember she married a ghost? You heard that story, right? Oh, I got her name right here. Let me pull it up. Amanda Teague married a 300-year-old Haitian pirate ghost. Do you remember that story? It literally happened in 2016. And guess what?
I was all kinds of sideways leading up to 2016, 2017. So I'm going to say no, I did. I'm going to say no, I didn't.
So this happened.
How the hell did this happen?
I don't know. She claimed that it was a ceremony. She claimed all of it. And hey, if she explains to me, hey, we were standing there in an altar, we had paranormal equipment around, it was going off, the spirit box was, saying I do back, all that, I would actually be like, that's kind of cool. Fucking weird, but cool. But I highly doubt
intrigued.
That. I'm intrigued too.
The idea.
But no, go ahead.
The idea that you could believe so much that this spectral thing, this Haitian pirate, if you will, after 300 years of death living in the fucking ethereal fucking plane, is like, oh, I just met this chick, and like, this is my bad bitch. This is my fucking number one. This is my ride or die.
I'm gonna marry her.
Like the two words that come to mind, and I'm sorry for our PG listeners, but the two words that come to mind are the fuck.
Wait, I got one better to finish that story though. She divorced him in 2018.
Did she get the boat?
I doubt it. Prenup.
See, smart.
But here's my thing. Okay, so that's even more crazy than what we're talking about. But if she were to marry a ghost or believe that she was marrying a ghost, and like you said, the belief in that had to have been so crazy. She's probably crazy, but she had to believe it.
No way. She was probably 100% sane with an IQ up to here, like
Florida. Like I said, craziest stuff happens in Florida. But listen, they had to have had some sort of sexual encounter, right? They were married for 2 years. She married him. She was attracted to the guy. to the ghost. I mean, they had to.
We need to step back and understand one basic principle before we move forward in this particular topic, and that is, do ghosts have genitals? No ghost have I ever seen has had some wang dangling going on. I've never seen some great ghost boobies. I've never seen this. Right?
I mean, but here's the thing about what we're talking about.
Matt,
it's not about.
Have you ever seen a ghost camel toe?
I don't think so. I think I might have though. Back when I was 18, I just started.
The fakes we did on Ghost Loop, no. But like, I can't, like, I have to start with the idea that being a spirit, like an actual entity, I still have my bits, right? Because my bits don't work as is. I'm only 37, and like I'm already half dead. Like, it's good. So you're telling me that when I die, I'm still getting morning wood?
I mean, well, obviously, there's probably not a morning and night, as we know, in the afterlife. There's no time. I think that it's more of. I want to get to this later because I really want to get into how is this possible? Do we believe that it's possible? All this and all that. But real quick,
okay.
I want to talk about. We've talked about your cases that you've had this happen. We've talked about some kind of famous stories. We've talked about the person we know who's claimed to get a ghost blowjob. Have you ever had any sort of experience while you were investigating? While you were at home?
I have an answer to this.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? We've known each other a long time. We're best friends with brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Some have never talked about. Are you ready for the story? I wish. God damn it. I wish.
I mean, I'm actually surprised that you've never had any, and it doesn't even have to be like intercourse. Like, yeah, have you ever had any sort of intimate? You know me, you know my ability. Of course. Here's my answer. Yes. And I'll tell you my two stories. You were there once. I actually have multiple stories, but the two best stories I have.
Did you have a hard on from an intimate experience while I was next to you?
We caught it on film. Not my hard on, but the experience.
Thank God the thermal wasn't running at that point. I don't think the screen was big enough. Anyway, let's hear it. I want to hear these experiences, man. I want to hear them.
Well, okay, so I want to talk about the one you were there second because I know you're going to have a rebuttal. But let me tell you about my first one. So, and it's a good story. So it's Valentine's Day. Can't write this shit. It's Valentine's Day. I'm living in Indiana, and this is 2018. So this was right before I moved to LA, like half a year before. And Valentine's Day, I was with my ex. We were down at this place in Nashville, Indiana. It's really, really, really old bed and breakfast. And there's this spirit there called the Lady in Blue. She's supposed to be very, very nice. She's supposed to, haunt the bed and breakfast, but, kind of take care of everyone. But it's said that she's pretty flirty. So my ex and I are sitting there at this table. And I have not my elbows on the table, but like my arms. So my elbows are like that. And I swear to God, dude, I'm looking at her and I feel this on my arm. Like fingers on my arm and kind of like this. So much so that I was like, because I thought it was our waitress. And I was like, and I just felt, this is what I felt. I felt me and my ex weren't great at the time. It was Valentine's Day. I actually felt like, wow, I felt good.
Did you feel
wanted? I
did
felt
you feel
like
one? Talk about. Did you feel aroused?
I didn't feel aroused, but I felt like.
But that's the big thing, right? If you're talking about a simple touch or a simple like gesture that made you feel something, yeah, that's cool.
I feel like I could have been. I wanted to go upstairs and I wanted to go into one of the Airbnb or the bed and breakfast rooms, and I wanted to see what would happen. That is when I probably would have opened myself up to see if that spirit wanted to do more. And
So
no,
what you're saying,
I wouldn't have sat there and just got naked and been like, come on, baby. But I would have been like, you know, if that was you trying to gently get my attention, probably get me away from, you know, that person that I was not having such a great time with. I don't know, man. It was crazy. It was great.
that's interesting. Definitely, you know, a little bit of foreplay for you at that point.
Now that I look back at it and it's been so long and obviously a lot more experience, especially with the clairsentient stuff, I really feel like she was attracted to me, but I also feel like she knew that me and the ex were not doing great. And it was like comforting, but it was also like, I'll take care of you.
So what you're telling me is you have a homewrecker ghost trying to get some dick.
She was just looking out. She was just looking out, but maybe, I don't know. And then my second story.
Okay.
Here. You were here.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
You know what this was, right? Sugarmint Gallery. What did that spirit on the Phasma box tell me to do? You know what? Let's just show the people. Take a look at this.
They're like, what?
It's telling you that ass is thick. That's what
Really?
That's what's
That ass is thick.
talking to you, Maddie.
Probably. I hate everything you're doing right now. And the front.
And the front.
Okay, who's talking now? Are you trying to flirt?
Lay on the bed.
Lay on the bed.
Who do you want to lay on the bed? I'm gonna get off the bed.
Matt.
Oh, it's not to say that. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what I have to do. Okay, be nice.
It is
All right,
such a
Maddie,
tough
come on.
job, Matt.
Come on, Maddie.
Be nice. All right.
Ghost loop take 2.
This is such a tough job.
This is not easy, guys.
All right, Matt's on the bed.
Matt's on the bed.
What would you like now? Do you want to touch him?
No.
Do you want to touch him?
Why are you so quiet?
Please gag. Please gag.
What?
Did you just say that's so big, Matt?
Wow. You better not tell Tiffany. What the fuck is going on? Do you know that he has a girlfriend named Tiffany?
Oh my god.
Oh, hi.
You just missed it. They said his name and they wanted him to lay on the bed.
They said that ass is thick and so is the front. And then he goes, "Who do you want to lay on the bed?" He goes, "Matt." I was like, "Oh my god."
Like, no joke.
And then it says as he lays down, what did it say?
that thing is so big. Okay.
All right, so enough of this.
Hold on. I need to know your name first. What's your name? Tell me your name or else I'm getting up.
Age and name.
Monique?
Okay, Monique. Is that your stage name? How old are you? Please tell me how old you are. 26?
That's not what I heard.
What'd you hear?
12.
You did not hear 12.
I heard 12.
I heard 50.
It's funny because like all of us knew at that point, like Matt's gonna get himself. Like this thing.
You
This
guys were like, Matt, we're gonna leave the room. I was like, fuck you. Like I wasn't the one. I wasn't egging on the ghost. You guys were. You guys were asking
on
me.
the bed, unbutton your pants and just lay there and be like,
Bro,
hey,
I'm telling you, I really
because
thought
you had the look of love in your eye when that was said. When those words uttered, you had the look of, what's up, girl? Like, what's up?
Dude.
Like,
it was interesting. It was very interesting. I think if you guys would have left the room and the Phasma box would have stayed on, I think more things would have been said. Because during that investigation, that was our first or second time investigating it, to where psychic mediums, Sarah, the owner of Sugarmint, was having female experiences. There was this female spirit that was in the Sugarmint. So I don't think, have we been back since? No, because that was very recently.
No, that was the last time. That was the last time we hunted it, and
Yeah.
it was one of those experiences. It was like, I mean, it was out of pocket. It was unexpected, but I mean, could you have gotten, you know, spiritually laid? I mean, of any place, yeah, that would have been the one.
I mean,
Hands
it
down,
was
that would
it
have
was
been that
insane.
would have been the one.
I think it's so funny how it happened in front of you. I was just like, of course. Anyway, so
I
those
love,
were like the
I
two.
love that these spirits set you up to be like, okay, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna make sure that his big brother and best friend is right there to hear it, so he could never live it down, ever.
I know. You know, maybe that was just a way to get to you. You know
I
what?
mean,
That's gonna
yeah.
be a goal. I want to find a location, a haunted location next time you're down in LA or I'm up in Oregon that has some sort of horny ghost, and I want to make sure I want to be your wingman.
One, if it bites my face, I'm breaking your face.
It might bite your face.
Two, I don't know that I want to get a paranormal STD, bro. Like that just it's
See,
not really
that's
my
a
cup
whole
of
other
tea.
podcast. I don't think you can. I do not think you can get a paranormal STD. So, speaking of what to get, where to get it, horny ghosts, my man. What could these entities, ghosts, spirits, whatever they are, what could they be? In lore, it is two words. There's the incubus, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, and the succubus. And I'm going to hand it off to the one and only Chris Califf. God, I love listening to you talk about lore. I think I'm getting a little turned on, actually.
We now have a horny ghost. All right, so we talk about incubus and succubus, and you have to remember the thing about any sex-related thing that it goes back to recorded, like the beginning of recorded time.
Right.
You know, there are so many different things that are entities that would present themselves in that form and use sex to either extract soul, blood, life energy, or whatever have you. I mean, the most popular incubus succubus lore, which I mean clearly began in the Christian church, and the idea that Lilith, the original wife of Adam, after she wanted to be on top, God damn her for wanting to ride like stole it. Adam went and complained to the boss and said, "Hey, God, she made me feel like less of a man because she wanted to ride my pee-pee." And God was like, "No way, bro," and kicked her ass straight to hell. And then Lilith was fucked by a bunch of demons and gave birth to a bunch more. And those demon spawns were supposed to be something called incubi and succubi. Now, incubi and succubi run hand in hand because technically the spirit itself it's not gender fluid, right? It's not a male or a female. It depends on you and your sexual preference. If it's you and I, they're going to show in the form of a beautiful woman. For me, Daniel Harris. For you, you know, Kate Beckinsale, Scout Taylor Thompson.
Okay, Beckinsale, you had me at that. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for our you know, female audience, they're going to show up as, you know, Jason Momoa or Magic Mike. I don't remember what that guy's name is. But anyway.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah. And the idea is that these particular creatures,
or
they
Chris
feed
Califf.
off of...
I had to get it
in.
I had to get it in.
I'm gonna show up in your dreams, whoever's watching. But moving forward, like the idea is these particular entities that they take life force or soul through the act of sex. They use the sin lust to be able to again feed and to take your life, to possess you, to get you to its bidding. It's going to use sex to be able to push you wherever way it wants to go. And like I said, that's been a thing throughout history. I mean, you have, you know, you look back at like Greek mythology, for example, right? And you have the idea of the siren song. You have sirens that were, you know, same way that would lead to.
I was going to bring them up.
It's a beautiful song. I mean, there's these pieces all over every bit of lore,
right?
Everywhere. Jinn have had the same kind of rap. So like, it goes throughout all of history. Vampires were said to do the same thing. So
it gets even weirder. I mean, in some sort of German folklore, it's a like a demented looking dwarf that plays the guitar right outside your door and tries to seduce you. Yeah, there's like in Brazil, they thought it was they called it an Amazon river monster, and it was this.
They also have a really good wax from there.
Okay, so guys, Clearly,
I'm just saying.
Caleb,
I'm just
can follow
saying.
the
I'm
rules
just saying.
and tell us
But think
any
about it.
more about lore.
But think about it. Like the Brazilian wax is like the thing, man. Like
Technically, that's
throughout
lore.
lore,
Like, where did that come
yeah.
from?
I
But
mean,
we're talking
you wanna know
about sexual
so the
experiences with
Brazilian wax
ghosts.
actually came back. That came back from like ancient Egyptian times. Like Cleopatra, she had a furry butthole, and they,
So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to just conjuring it because I can't.
no, I want to actually ask you this. So we have a demented dwarf in Ireland that plays the
That was
guitar.
German folklore.
German. Sorry, I apologize.
Some German
So
folklore.
after it plays the guitar outside your window, what happens?
It seduces you, and you see it, and you invite it in, and you want to have sex with it. Apparently.
So, it's the Germans' rendition of a siren.
Yep, pretty much. Slash incubus, succubus.
It makes you wonder, like with the incubus succubus lore, because in my time, I've never heard this, but it makes you wonder, like incubus succubus lore, do they have a song? Do they have something in that siren realm that can totally just shatter?
I'd be down
your
to
idea of
find out.
reality?
I'd be down to find out. Yeah, but I'm not trying to really nail down like specific types. There are so many different looks of what an incubus and succubus is, why there's an incubus and succubus. The way you said it is the way I've been taught, the way a lot of us have been taught. But then there's also, a lot of unplanned pregnancies in the last thousands of years, they blamed on an incubus and a succubus. There's been people saying that an incubus and succubus is there not only to have sex with you, but to suck your blood, like you mentioned, vampiric.
Yeah.
And then there's like I said, the Brazilian Amazon River dolphin, which is this handsome man that shows up and he has a hat on. And the reason he has a hat on is to cover his breathing hole because he's a freaking dolphin. And he seduces you without you knowing he's a dolphin. That's an incubus.
Time out. Fun fact. And this is just totally offshoot. We're talking about, sex and all these things. Dolphins rape people.
I know. Everybody knows that fact.
It's horrifying to think because they're smart. Those things are smart.
They are insanely smart. And I love dolphins. They're the cutest things. But yeah, I know I've heard.
Have you slept with one? Have you slept with a dolphin?
I think I have a better chance with a ghost than a dolphin. And I think I'd rather sleep with a ghost because they were once human and I'm not into bestiality.
I can see Flipper eyeballing you right now.
If anybody's eyeballing me, it's not Flipper. Flipper's eyeballing you. We've talked about the lore. We've talked about incubus and succubus kind of quickly because we can really, there's so much lore and so much, ghost stories of people, especially overseas.
Let me touch one more.
Incubus or a succubus.
Let me touch one more. Angels.
Mm-hmm.
The Nephilim. The offspring of human and angels. Even angels in the book of Enoch and all these things have come down to seduce people and get them pregnant. You have demigods in Greek lore. Zeus would come down and the OG fuckboy, our boy, Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus.
Would come down and
we've talked about
business.
This.
So the idea of sex and the supernatural have run hand in hand for as long as recorded. Look at most people out there. The story you'll be most familiar with, the Virgin Mary. Right? Sex, impregnation, and or death, and the supernatural. These are things that literally they're as common as peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's what surprises me so much that this is not talked about more. I think it's because people think you're crazy if you talk about it or you're weird. Dude, you're talking about ghosts anyways. You're talking about the paranormal anyways.
There's tens of thousands
of
people out there. There's tens of thousands of people out there around the world that there's tens of thousands that think that they've had an alien shove something up their ass. So like you want to talk about that, like it's be real.
That's what I'm saying.
You talk about supernatural. Again, there's tens of thousands of people who legitimately believe, and this is taking all the like crazy stuff and pushing it aside, but tens of thousands of legitimate people that believe that they've had a ghost either rape them or have consensual sex with this particular ghost.
Especially at night. And we completely forgot like one main thing about what we're talking about, especially incubus succubus, is nighttime when you're asleep. So I want to get to that. What do you think? And there's so many options, but naturally, like, what do you think? There's sleep paralysis. There's wet dreams that happen. Like, do you think this is just something normal to the human body? Or do you think it could potentially be incubus, succubus, angel, or a horny ghost, anything? You know, what is your true belief?
To be perfectly blunt, what scares me is that anything's possible. Anything. My belief, I think there's a psychosis that it brings. It happens to a lot of people that are lonely, that don't have the avenue to go out and have sex, or have somebody that adores them, or, you know, they don't have that feeling of lust or want, and they kind of manifest that themselves. You know, we've talked about tulpas on many different occasions, and I think that plays a huge part. But do I think that there's some
creating something that's not there, to so much so that your belief is so strong that it does create something not of this world?
However, Utah was a prime example that there are things out there that, whether you want to or not, whether you're enveloped in the idea of being able to be intimate or have sex with these particular beings, they're going to take it from you. Ty being a prime example, his mom being a prime example. You know, there's things out there that will take it from you. And I'm sorry, I've never woke up in the morning feeling like that had happened to me. I haven't. But I'm also not going to discredit somebody who thinks or feels like that has happened to them.
Yeah. And he's talking about the last episode. He's talking about the last episode of Ghost Loop. You need to hear the story of the homeowner, the mom. It's a very, very, very disturbing story. And she just started bawling when she told us that she felt like she had been molested, if not worse, by this entity, which that's the whole flip side, is not all this is all fun and like, haha. I mean, there's some dark shit out there that I truly believe. And like you said, I don't discredit her at all. That I truly believe that can happen. And it's very dangerous.
That's the scary part. We can say, or we can joke and be like, oh, dude, like ghost blowy, you know. But then you have the flip side, like you said, of these people that they're not looking for this. They didn't summon it. They didn't ask for it. They don't want it. And yet it's occurring to them on a daily or nightly basis.
Yeah.
And I can't begin to imagine the trauma that would then instill in somebody, right? You look at the structure of the brain, how the brain works, and specifically how the brain works with trauma. And if you are in the belief that something supernatural is taking advantage of you night after night after night, the psychosis that would bring, I mean, that's damn near mentally destroying in itself. And I know those things are out there. Those things are true. Those things are real. Like, I mean, the idea of spiritual rape or demonic rape, more or less, again, has been a thing. I mean, you're looking back past the witch trials, right? Like, you're looking back, again, to recorded history where they believe that Zeus, for example, Zeus didn't ask for consent. He took what he wanted. And that's the thing you learn in a lot of these stories when you read and do a lot of this research and lore, is that consent was never a thing. So whether you were enveloped in this lust in that moment or not, you never gave consent. And that's the scariest part about when you look at sex and supernatural, is that this thing's going to get what it wants, whether you want that or you don't.
Yeah, very, very, very well said. It's a very broad subject to talk about. We could potentially even do a whole nother episode on this and go a little more into detail on, you know, human experiences and what exactly they could be. You know, obviously we touched on a lot of the entities and the lore and experiences that we know about, but there's a lot more to it. And of course we had to bring in, you know, what you and I went through with episode 8 and what we heard from the homeowner. And it's scary. But on the flip side, yes, there is people who literally want this. So again, it's not all scary. It's not all happy and fun. It's a huge, you know, umbrella under this sexual encounters with the other side. So having said that, my friend, we're getting to the point. I want to do something real quick. This is gonna be the last thing we do.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not okay with this, I know you're gonna be. I want to read you how to conjure a spirit to have sex with her or him, depending on what floats your boat. Or them.
Here's my opinion on that before we move forward.
Okay.
One, I need to take a drink to that. So last call here at Booze and Bros.
Last call. How to conjure a spirit to have sex with them.
2, I'll text you in the morning and let you know how good it was. You know,
copy that.
We do.
Copy that. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, Matthew Lytle, tell me how to summon a ghost to get some.
So this is a way to seduce a ghost, and this is written by a mutual friend that Caliph and I have, or I should say a person that we have mutual friends with. Patty Negri. She's very well known in the
a friend of the Spirit Hunters.
Yeah, she's very well known in the paranormal world. She has been seen on television on a few of the shows, including Ghost Adventures. She's friends with Jack Osborne, a lot of those people, right? Here we go. This is the guidelines, and I'm gonna read it and just enjoy Kayla's reactions.
I'm
Do not
saying
interrupt
nothing,
me too much because I know you.
I'm not saying anything until you say I can go.
Copy.
How about that?
All right, these are the guidelines, and then I'll tell you how to do it. The guidelines. Know that it's real. Take it seriously. Be as goofy as you want. Have lots of fun, but know that you're really inviting a real spirit from the beyond in, and that you're opening a real portal to other realms. Know your belief system. Who are you going to call if you're scared? God, your angels, your guides. Yeah, Ghostbusters, Matt Lytle. Doesn't matter. Okay. Don't get scared. Fear will do two negative things. It will prevent it from happening altogether, and it'll bring in the wrong kind of energy, a darker energy that will feed on your fear.
Okay? Don't tense up. Let it fight you.
Exactly. Loosey goosey, baby. Loosey goosey.
Don't tense up. Don't tense up.
Don't tense up. I never have. All right. Know that this is our realm of existence. They play by your rules. They have power over you only if you give it to them. Honestly, I wouldn't follow that rule. I would give them all the power. That's hot.
So you're a spiritual sadist. Got
it. Call me what you want. Have fun with it. Let go of any preconceptions of it being evil or bad. Keep it good, healthy, and fun. So those are the guidelines. Those sound right. Those sound logical to you and I because we actually know what we're talking about when it comes to ghosts.
She could have ended all in one word. Consent.
Yeah. So the steps, guys, if you really want to know how to conjure a spirit, I'll put the link. I'll put the link below this YouTube, but
the link will be in the bio of the video to summon your own ghost.
Yeah. And if not, we'll make a post on Instagram to put it. Okay, ready. The steps. Step number 1. Be in a great personal space, clean, happy, good mood. Be in your good senses.
Okay, I'm right here. I'm right here right now. Let's go.
Number 2. Prepare your space, candles, incense, mood lighting, sexy music. Do not burn sage because obviously spirits won't come. Number 3, define your space and set its boundaries. Kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, wherever you want to do it, make sure that that's the spot. This isn't real, so there's no going around the house like you like to do, right? Number 4, protect your space in whatever way works with your belief system. Yeah, pretty clear, right? Number 5, start doing, this is where you need to start acting, right? Start doing some slow, deep breathing. Begin visualizing your ghostly lover, what it, he, she feels like, etc. Ask the universe or whomever to send you a ghostly lover. Be clear that you want it to be positive, good, loving, and light, as well as hot. Of course, whatever you find hot. What? It's very clear and easy. Why are you laughing so hard?
Because it's like, make sure you put on your spiritual condom. See your partner for the first time. Make sure you're hard. Make sure they're coming in the room sensually. Like,
this is from Patty. She knows her shit.
And she's a great chick. She's an amazing human being. But to me, in my head, all I'm hearing is fucking penthouse forums right now.
Okay, all right. Well, the thing is, we have 4 more steps.
Oh God.
Step number 6.
Is getting off one of those steps?
Can you let me talk? Number 6. This one I don't know how much you'll like. Softly add a chant to your deep breathing. Something short that you can repeat easily, like, quote, "Come to me, loving spirits."
Ready? Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata gets you horny? Who the fuck have you...
It's such a wonderful phrase.
Oh God, Hakuna Matata reminds me of Disney. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
There's a lot.
Number 7, easy. Believe. Like we talked about earlier. Believe. You believe hard enough.
I don't even believe when I get laid in real life. Like, really? Like,
okay, but this
gonna...
what we're doing. Look, I if any of us were to do this, it would not be you because of what you, yeah. Number 8, hopefully, okay, this is where it gets interesting. Number 8, hopefully you will start feeling sensations. You may hear something, smell something, notice orbs of light or shadows. Hopefully the physical sensations are coming. Often a feeling of pressure on the body, the feel of a soft touch. Doesn't that sound like my first freaking experience at the place in Nashville, Indiana?
It also sounds a whole lot like possession. That sounds a whole lot like possession.
Okay, so it says often feeling pressure on the body, the feel of a soft touch, and then different forms of sexual stimulation, aka a boner. Enjoy it. Patty didn't say boner. That was me. Number 9, throughout your encounter, communicate with the spirit. Make sure there is mutual respect and that nothing is done or allowed that you are not happy or comfortable with. We've been talking about. And then number 10, when it's over, thank the spirit. You can decide it you want to, if you want to invite it back or not, and close the veil. Close the veil, guys. Verbally state that any entities that came through, you should not be there. Go away, even the one that you had this experience with. And like I said, say you'll invite it back. That way they know next time you do this, they can come back earlier. Maybe you can have an even better experience. I cannot.
So what you're saying is that supernaturally they have to take the walk of shame back through the veil. Like, you get your fucking rocks off, right? Like, okay, I just busted in a ghost or whatever. Like, it just flew everywhere, ectoplasm, whatever you want to call it, right? And now they have to. I'll call you.
He said ectoplasm, guys.
Yeah, I'll call you. Go. Like, your fucking spectral Uber is waiting. Get out of here.
Dude, you're so right.
The ghost has to take a walk of shame.
It's just like, bro, this is the exact saying to what this is. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
You're literally, what you're doing is this is spectral Tinder. Patty, I love you to death. You're an amazing human being. You're one of the foremost experts in our field, but you just gave people spectral Tinder.
That's not a bad thing. Nothing wrong with that. So I have two more questions for you. Last call.
I'm straight banging me a ghost tonight.
Last call, Booze and Bros.
All right.
It was going to be a question that I thought would be very interesting, and I thought it'd be like, ooh, I don't know what he's going to say, but we obviously know what you're going to say. Would you do exactly what I just said? Would you go through that and try to conjure a spirit to have sex with? Why not?
Way too close to possession. Anybody that studied demonology or demonology, anybody that studied anything about our industry and what we do, all those steps are way too close to opening yourself up for possession. Period.
You are literally opening a veil and inviting an entity, which could be a demon or something even darker,
or inside you, right? You're literally opening the door, saying, "Hey, whatever you are, I'm right here." What I'm
so glad you brought this up. I'm so glad you brought this up.
So,
and it did say. Go ahead.
As much that I like to poke fun at it and all that stuff, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the idea of, banging a ghost is crazy and funny. But when you look at anything spectral, specifically the things that lead to sex with anything of the supernatural kind, it never ends well.
Yeah.
Period.
Especially if you really, really, really believe. And let's take
this back full circle. Chick married the Haitian pirate. Married for 2 years and divorced him. Even in the afterlife, you can't make people happy. Hell, in the real life, every day it's becoming more and more volatile and worse. So why, to me, all this is saying, and this is what really scares me about, if you look at any paranormal situation where they're like, hey, this is how you do this, all of it ends up being in the same realm as opening yourself up for possession. Because there's only, like we talked about, there's plenty of things in lore, but specifically, there's really two things that are going to come through that door. It's incubi or succubi. And let's be 100% clear and real, as funny or as awesome as you might think you are, as funny as awesome as those scenarios might be, incubi and succubi lore ends with one thing: that when you climax with that demon, when you get yours, right? When you get off, when you hit that apex, right where Gary Ridgway choked people out, that right there, your soul leaves your body with you.
Wow.
That's how they take your soul. So I wouldn't
Advice?
trust any. Wear a spiritual condom. Have your dick blessed by Jesus Christ or by your local padre. And then just don't try to bang ghosts. Like, banging a ghost, as cool as it might seem, probably gonna end up bad for you. Because you don't call them back, what's gonna happen? They're gonna haunt you.
Yeah. You know, I would say, especially as a clairsentient who has had some flirtation and some intimate times with spirits, I never open myself up too much, because you never know if they're serious. You never know what they are, especially with everything Caleb said. With doing this, I think is way too dangerous. I think it's dangerous even flirting with a ghost and being like, oh, I'll lay down on the bed, and all that. And of course, I'm going to do it to get more evidence, but I know not to cross the line, because I've been doing this for almost 13 years and I've been a clairsentient for a lot of years now.
Think about this in life, just in life in general. Sex and power are the two things that rule just about anybody. And if something from the afterlife is going to come here and give you physical bliss, the best sex you've ever had, there's going to be a cost for it. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to have the finances, 2, have the soul, and 3, have the stomach to make that fucking deal?
It's dangerous stuff. So we'll end it there. But this was fun. I do believe that having an experience without doing anything crazy like we talked about, I think it's great. I mean, you and I we hunt the paranormal, man. It's our life. It's been our life for years. I think it's awesome. Those stories are great. Just, it does come with a cost. It can come with a cost.
I wish I could sign up on, Ghost Tinder and get like a bi-weekly ghost blowy. Like, that'd be great. I'd be totally cool with that. However, I know at the end of the day, that thing's going to want me to be its puppet somehow and do whatever bidding it wants me to do. So you have to look at it just like you would in life. Is that orgasm? Is that however long a passion
is getting off worth it?
Yeah.
Is it
worth what? Is it worth the cost? And that's what you have to ask yourself in these situations.
Yeah. And hey, if you think it is, it is. We're not sitting here being like, no, we are. But like, if it is worth it to you, again, you guys know Caleb and I enough. If you don't, we're going to tell you, do what you want to do. Have that experience. Have that cost.
And write your stories. If you
not
have
come
that
running
experience.
to us. Do not come messaging us on our Instagram that sometimes we don't even run, and our personal pages, because he doesn't even have one.
So I don't even have one. So let's be real. If you've had a story or an experience or an encounter with something in the sexual realm as far as the paranormal is concerned, put it in the comments of this video.
Yes, please do. We would love to hear it. We'd love to hear ghost stories, even if they're this sexual, intimate, whatever it is. It is such a blessing to be able to experience this kind of things while we're on this earth as human beings, as human flesh. So please share. We will not judge. There's absolutely no judgment. Look what we just shared. Look what we just talked about. We're open books. We are the Spirit Hunters. We are Chris Califf and Matt Lytle. We are here for you all the time, 24/7. We will see you next week, going all the way back to Ghost Loop.
Remember one thing, guys. At the end of the day, no matter what you think, what you believe, or what you feel, if it goes bump in the night, Spirit Hunters, we come for it.
We'll see you next week.